Here to give us his thoughts on last night's game and a preview of the best-of-3 finals is none other than Sports Desk basketball analyst and UP legend, point laureate, Coach Ronnie Magsanoc. Coach, good morning. Welcome back to the show.
Good morning, Andre. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Okay, last night's game, classic, instant classic, and arguably, I think it will go down as one of the best games, or the best game of the season. More than 80,000 people watch, but and that game could have gone either way. Agree? Pwedeng UP, pwedeng UST, but UST came out on top. How did the Tigers eventually pull off that win against the Fighting Maroons and now move on to the finals?
Well, I thought that composure had a lot to do about the ability of the Tigers to come up with the critical points in the end. They made the necessary defensive plays to stop UP from building a larger lead over 4 points. And they had that excellent 9-2 run to close out the match in their favor after Jun Manso was called for his 5th and final foul.
That was a big one. Yep.
Oh, nung wala na silang mapuntahan, they relied on their defense. A lot of times, UP could have been up by 6 or 8.
Yes.
With under a minute left, pero it did not happen. Instead, they gave themselves a fighting chance by nailing important free throws. But more than that, hitting the biggest shot of the year through, of course, Renzo Subido.
Grabe, 5 feet away from the 3.
Layo.
Layo. Now, of course, tapos na. The stage is set for the finals. Ateneo now has an opponent. It's UST.
Correct.
Can UST ride on that momentum going forward against the still unbeaten Ateneo Blue Eagles? Kasi parang nagpipeak at the right time itong UST. And they've been winning. The momentum is obviously on their side.
Well, when you talk about momentum, that will only take you as far as getting to the finals. When you get to the finals, in a best-of-3 series, every game, every match, every series presents a different storyline. And you're up against a team that has not tasted a loss 25 games ago, dating back to last year's match.
They've been untouchable here in the
So
UAP.
I'm sure at the back of the mind of Coach Ateneo, this requires a different preparation that they need to execute in 48 hours heading to Saturday's matchup. Ang meron silang dala is the confidence that they can beat teams who have deeper roster power than them and that they can defend and that they can win in a low-scoring game. Kasi lagi nating sinasabi, they have to hit 80 to win.
80
Last
above,
night,
no?
proved to be different. Kaya lang, they were also able to do this against UP in that second-round encounter, winning against UP 72-68. Pretty much the same storyline. Kung titignan mo, lamang ang UP ng 4, bola nila, Subido once again played the hero's role. Hindi lang yung last shot ang napunta sa kanya. Pero yung pinaka-importanteng basket, katulad dun sa round 2 encounter, the 3-point basket and the pass to Brent Paraiso, siya rin yung proponent nun. And alam mo, just to point out, because people have been, of course, in ecstasy, especially from UST, about that the shot that led to the 1-point lead.
Yeah.
But he ended the game the way he started it for UST. After he penetrated against the switch defense of Bright Akweti in the first play of UST, yung sunod nun was a 3-ball isolation against Akweti. Nung tinignan ko nga, nung mangyayari, kinilabutan na ako dahil nasapal na ni Dave Murrell si Abando.
Abando,
diba?
oh.
But it gave Ateneo that time to think and process the thought that he needed to make 2 substitutions that enabled them to force that cross-match na napunta si Subido kay Bright Akweti. And when I saw that matchup, kakabahan ka talaga dahil sa ganong klaseng paghaharap, game on the line, season on the line, you have the ball in the hands of one of your best clutch shooters against the best big man last year. Lamang yung maliit sa ganitong sitwasyon dahil hindi naman niya lulusutan si Bright. He will take the winning shot. At this shot was created not just 2 practices ago. This shot was manufactured in the mind of Renzo Subido many, many years ago. And the shot that players always dream of making, or if just taking and making, when the game is on the line, when the championship is on the line, and he made it. And I think that shot will immortalize Subido in the hearts of the UP community. Win or lose pagdating sa finals.
Well, they will need that big shot and big heart from Renzo Subido when they take on the Blue Eagles. Right. Silipin natin, Coach, yung balikan muna natin yung numbers ng Ateneo UST. That was a time when UST almost could have given Ateneo that loss. 1-point win para sa Ateneo yon against UST, 71-70. Let's take a look at the numbers, Coach.
I had the chance to cover this round one encounter. And as I talked about a few episodes ago, there are only 3 teams who were able to maintain that chance to win in the end. UST, Adamson, and LaSalle. The other 2 teams are already out of the running. Hindi nga pumasok sa Final Four. Pero ang UST, 1 shot away from winning against Ateneo. But this was in the first round because in the second round, they were contained to only 55 points by Ateneo. Ateneo has been watching from the sidelines the last 3 opponents, possible opponents, FEU, UST, and UP. And they have a 2-week preparation to be able to rest their minds and their bodies and prepare for the upcoming opponent in the finals. Of course, naniniwala ako na sharper ang UST dahil laro ng laro eh. But ang Ateneo will be very ready for their schemes because in as much as they won over UP in a low-scoring match yesterday, parang mahirap na ganun ang tema ng laban because ang best defensive team in the last 2 years, not just this year, has been Ateneo. And they like a low-scoring game. They take away your points of attack. And before you know it, you just play one-on-one basketball against them, and that is falling into the trap whenever you play the Blue Eagles.
Nabanggit mo na nga, Coach, yung round 2, yun, medyo malayo na if we... yung final score, 66-52, sabi mo nga, mas low scoring. Na-limit yung offensive juggernaut ng UST.
I think that was the lowest scoring output for UST this year.
Do you think the finals, I mean, it's, I want to ask you this. Tingin mo mas magiging more of the round 1 encounter or more of the round 2 encounter?
As I said earlier, every game presents a different storyline. May ibang character yan eh. UST for the first time, I believe, shot under 10 triples last night and they became vulnerable. But in the end, it boiled down to that final 3-point shot by Subido to rescue them and save their season. So, ayun ang mga tinitingnan, of course, ng Ateneo, identifying the source of offense for UST, how they're able to take their shots from the 3-point line. Last night, they were 7 of 39.
Yes.
Diba? So, titira at titira. But what can you take away? Because Chabio silently dominated again. And the matchup between him and Bright Akwete was classic. Diba? Until such time na kita mo halos unbearable na kay Bright yung pain sa paa niya. Diba? And he was there, but not the bigger presence as he was in that second quarter fight back ng UP. Siya yung nagpahabol eh. Siya yung nagdala. Kaya lang, bagsak dito, bagsak doon. Tama dito, tama doon. And eventually, Chabio had his say. Pero ganun eh, mabibigyan ka lang ng chances na manalo, hindi mo nakuha. That's why we have to say it, that UST deserves to make it to the finals and play Ateneo starting Saturday.
What will decide the series here for you? Ateneo and UST, yung keys to winning for both teams. Let's start. Do you want to start with UST or with Ateneo?
Well, let me put it this way. The tagline in the UP-UST series is going to be the offense of UST versus supposedly the defense of UP. Ito, mas malinaw ito na gano'n ang nakikita ko na tema ng series. If UST is able to score 80 against the Blue Eagles, something that has not yet been done throughout the season, they have a good chance at least winning game 1. It will be as simple as that because in terms of schemes, in terms of preparation, yung lockdown defense at disiplina ng Ateneo, yun ang pinakabala nila. Keys to winning, perhaps the only thing that will deflate that for Ateneo is yung rust factor dahil sa tagal na hindi naglaro, while UP sharper. Pero naglalaro ng practice games, ang naniniwala akong Ateneo to prepare for the finals. So, keys to winning, it's all about the DNA of the Blue Eagles, the lockdown defensive character that they've had against their opponents dating back to last year. Yun naman ang susi talaga eh. They don't rely on any particular star player for an explosion offensively. Kaya yung best player sa team na to, iba-iba halos parate, di ba? But they can outscore you because of the way they defend you. They will score off defensive stops and they will force you to make a lot of mistakes. For UST, they have proven that they can also be a good defensive team when they need to. And in the playoffs, they have limited their opponents under 70 dito sa huling 3 laro. They've won 4 straight. And the underrated part of their game is their ability to play defense. They have a good rim protector in Chabio. At yung individual defenders nila, maayos din. Diba? Kaya nga si Kobe was limited under 10 points in the last 2 games, at UP was only scored under 70 in the last 2 matchups. So, hindi magbabago kung ano yung karakter na meron yung isang team. 48 hours for UST to have that quick turnaround, diba? The elation, the ecstasy of being the 4th seed to make it to the finals. Well, for Ateneo, yung even keel nila ang sinasandalan nila. Not too high, not too low, but the methodical way of getting things or getting the job done is what has set them apart. Pero one thing that we have to highlight is that Coach Tab and Coach Aldin have faced each other 2 times before.
The finals, yeah.
Oo. And the first time,
Ateneo,
Lasal beat Ateneo, and second time they met, Ateneo, Coach Tab Aldin was able to get 1 past Coach Aldin Ayo. So, hindi na bago ito. They know each other, and perhaps they will also be looking back at the previous matchups. Coach Tab respects the ability of Coach Aldin Ayo to prepare his team, and Coach Aldin has proven that he's a winning coach, not just in terms of the win-loss record, but in terms of putting his players in the best available situation to excel, di ba? So, it's not just plays, it's also the character. At kung titignan mo, different ways, pero pareho na value formation yung kanila at player development. That's why these two were probably destined to meet in the finals and broke the hearts of the UP community yesterday.
Give me one X factor, Coach, for each team, UST and Ateneo.
X-factor, the hunger of UST, the pressure against Ateneo because they have not yet been beaten. I'm just pointing this out because of what happened to San Beda against Letran. Pero ang kagandaan for Ateneo, nakita nila yon. So may example na di ba? Nakita mo na. So, X-factor, in terms of players, I'll go for 2.
Sige,
Again, as I emphasize against UP, it will be Subido.
Renzo Subido, of course.
And Chabio for direction and for overall contributions in Chabio. While for Ateneo, it has to be Third de Ravena. Third de Ravena is a different player when it comes to the postseason. He will give you what you need in the elimination battle, perhaps all the way to the semifinals, but in the finals, he averaged, I think, over 30 against UP last year. And I expect him to be that kind of player because iba na rin ang magiging labanan. You narrow your rotation, you try to win the matchups, and then to add on to 30, probably, I'll go for, of course, aside from Ange Kwame, dahil yun ang katapat ni
Chabio.
I'll go for Will Navarro.
Will Navarro.
Will Navarro has been the best defender for them in terms of helping out Ange Kwame patrol the paint. At naniniwala ako na itong batang ito, isa sa mga keys bakit hindi pa natatalo ang Ateneo.
Coach, alam mo naman mahal kita, di ba? Pero hot seat tayo. Game 1 muna tayo. Ateneo, UST. Yung well-rested Blue Eagles, Tab Baldwin and his system, or the streaking Aldinayo and the UST Growling Tigers, who takes Game 1 of the UAAP Finals? Ateneo or UST?
Barometer, UST reaches mid-70, they have a good chance. Ateneo clamps them down 65 to 70. Ateneo will take Game 1.
Okay. Upon reading those tweets by the Gomez de Liano brothers, obviously, fans speculating na hindi sila babalik. Huge blow. What's your initial reaction upon seeing GDL brothers might saying farewell to UP, not playing next year?
If you read between the lines, may ganong connotation. Pero, alam mo, when you experience a loss such as this, it stings. And it takes a while for you to recover. Probably in a week or 2, they will have clearer minds. And once they say what they feel through another tweet, we'll take it from there. But for now, I think that's just a reaction on what happened. I think they also, of course, were hoping that they can make it to the finals. But kung titignan mo naman, very positive naman yung sinabi ng magkapatid at wala namang clear-cut na decision doon. So, we cannot jump into any conclusion right now. But as a part of the UP community, we're hoping that they come back and continue to push the program of UP.
Sobrang taas ba ng expectations para sa UP this year?
Naman.
No, kasi last year, remember, they didn't have Kobe, they didn't have Richie.
Naman.
This team made it to the finals. This year, the hype was obviously on UP.
Right.
The expectations were so high.
December pa lang ng 2018.
Yes, pati rightfully so. Dahil if you take a look at their lineup on paper, grabe nga naman yung talent nitong UP squad na to. So, again, were the expectations way too high that probably got to them?
kung titignan mo naman yung takbo ng season, the expectations will always be there and the pressure to win will always envelope what you have. Diba? Pero I thought that they came out with flying colors kasi 5-2, 4-3, 9-5, twice to beat. Yun ang story eh. So they were able to handle the pressure. But during the course of the preparation, yun yung nakita ko, nabasa ko sa sinabi ni Richie na a lot of them were hurt and they were not able to work together for the longest time. At alam ko rin, nakuha kong feedback na dito lang talaga sila nakapag-ensayo na magkakasama. So this is no excuse, but this is stating a fact. And I think Richie was candid enough to state this in an interview na nabasa ko. So I think the pressure will always be there. Ang sinasabi ko lang noon na too much pressure to win. Kasi kung dati, makapasok sa Final Four, parang nirvana na. Ngayon, hindi lang makapasok sa Final Four at makabalik sa finals, kundi mag-champion na. Hindi tumalon ng isang baitang eh. 5 baitang yung itinalon because of Richie and Kobe. Spectacular individual players. But as proven, it really takes time. And probably time was an issue for them to get things together and build a stronger bond and play more games together. Dahil tandaan natin, 14 games lang ang UAP.
Yes, mabilis lang.
Marami na nga yung UST na 17. So, the more practices you have, the more games you play together, and perhaps you can also state that the more games that you lose, and then hopefully win as one, get you to be a stronger team eventually.
Coach Ronnie, where does UP move on from here? Dahil half of the lineup mawawala dito. Veterans,
Half ba?
Manzo, Longa, Buneta, Prado, Tungkab, Mantilla, GDLs, baka umalis na rin, hindi na bumalik. Where does UP go from there if you take a look at the lineup?
Well, number one, they already have a foundation that they can count on. Meaning, they have become a destination school as well because they have built a winning program in the last 2 years. So at least kahit paano, in terms of recruitment, meron ka nang pupuntahan. Kung dati iniiwasan ka, ngayon pupuntahan ka na. Kasi meron kang napatunayan eh. And they have to start from there. Sabi nga ni Coach Bo, hindi sila pwedeng bumagsak uli sa makakuha lang ng 1 o 2 panalo. Diba? You assess what happened and then you make your decisions based on what you need. Dahil sa mga mawawalang players in terms of position, in terms of the opposition. So ganun naman parati yung planning. And they have, I believe, 2.5 months to do that. But most of all, they have to rest their minds to make a sound judgment dahil sa ngayon, minsan pag emotional ka and you make a decision when you're hurt, mahirap eh, di ba? You tend to be...
Make irrational decisions, yeah.
Correct. And you want to be as sensible as possible dahil ito hindi lang pang short term, kundi pang mahaba at pang matagalan. At kumbaga, bala mo na to dahil yung core naman, hopefully, is may iwan. Di ba? Lagi namang may gagraduate eh. Pero I'm sure meron nang nasa isip si Coach Boy and his staff in terms of what they need and what they had in mind prior to the Final Four. Dahil mahaba naman yung season na nagdaan para sa UP.
Coach,
9 na buwan yun eh.
9 na buwan. Okay, Coach. Maraming salamat.
Salamat din, Ray.
That's my last question.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Always great having basketball legend, point laureate, again, Sports Desk basketball analyst, one and only Coach Ronnie Magsanoc. And